You see me now, the victim of the OGL war. So please don't let these shakes. What's up, nerds? It's your boy. It's 8:52 in the morning on here. A gloomy, misty Friday, the 15th day of September in the year of our Lord Steve the Cat, who's sleeping around here somewhere. It is I, the OGGM, the mediocre, inexperienced scrub DM that you love or love to hate. And it's Friday. And on Fridays, we look at what has come out of the past 9 months, the victims of the January Manic Panic OGL wars, the several companies that stepped up and said, no, Wizards of the Coast, we're not going to allow you to mess up our hobby for future generations. We're going to make our own. And while several companies and several individuals claim they were going to step up and make their own games, very few have actually completed that. Kelsey Dion from Shadowdark, of course, being the number one. But Tales of the Valiant has completed its Kickstarter. The alpha release is available. Kickstarter number 5 is available. Not Kickstarter. Preview number 5 is available. So Tales of the Valiant looks like it is the closest to being ready. So we might actually see a Tales of the Valiant book by the end of this year or the beginning of next year. We've heard some positive things about Tales from the Valiant. We've heard some negative things about Tales from the Valiant. We also have Level Up 5e, but Level Up 5e actually predates the January 2023 Manic Panic. So even though it's been around since 2021, it was not part because they wisely chose not to involve themselves in the OGL Manic Panic. They just kept making product. So say what you will, at least they had the best thing, and they're constantly making new stuff. But Tales from the Valiant is done. We've even heard some rumors that Tales from the Valiant will be using the Midgard campaign setting, but then we've also heard the rumors that they're going to be making a separate campaign setting for Tales of the Valiant that more emphasizes the 5e of Tales from the Valiant. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all we know. And then that nothing has changed. What about C7d20? Nope, still nothing. The page is still empty. Still says the exact same thing it said as March. Matt Colville, on the other hand, Matt Colville has changed his page. What? Yes, we've got this video, which I think is actually pretty old, but let's watch it.
Okay, well, normally I like to put the most important stuff right at the beginning of the video, but this time,
18 minutes long.
Even better, I put it in the title, so you already know the most important thing. We are making our own original role-playing game.
Yes, we knew that.
We like all those kinds of games.
So we don't know anything about this yet. We just know he's working on one. We have heard from people who have watched his videos that it feels more like 4th edition than 5th edition. I'm not going to, suffer you guys through 18 minutes of Matt talking, but we know that he is now at least in the contendership. And he's got, some stuff about the game up, but there might even be a Kickstarter soon. So we know he is closer to getting ready to be in competition for 2024 D&D. Then we have Daggerheart or Illuminated Worlds or Till Your Last Grasp. But we covered all the Daggerheart news yesterday. Daggerheart's still being pay tested. It's interesting that there are people out there claiming they already have it, and people out there making characters and doing demos of Daggerheart when you don't have anything, dude. There is no demos. There's what people saw at Gen Con. So you're basing these articles and these characters you're creating on pictures and descriptions of what people saw at Gen Con. So yeah, that's interesting. But, clout chasing, right? I mean, who am I to badmouth somebody for clout chasing, since apparently that's what all I do. And finally, we have, of course, the Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, the King of the Ring, the often frustrating, but at least we know it's out there, Unearthed Arcana Playtest 7 for ONE DND or D&D 2024 or D&D 5.3. We have the new Updated Barbarian, Fighter, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. Now, Sorcerer and Warlock are still classes I don't think you need. Warlock could probably just easily be a Cleric subclass. And Sorcerer, I mean, I really don't know about Sorcerer, you know? I mean, for a while I was like into Sorcerers. I liked Sorcerers, but the longer I played the game, I'm like, everything a Sorcerer can do, a Wizard can do better. So other than the Bloodline stuff, I think they should have made Metamagic definitely should have been whatever. You don't care what I think about Sorcerers and Wizards and Warlocks. We know, though, according to Jeremy Crawford, as of 24 hours ago, the best spellcasting class in upcoming D&D is not the Wizard. It's not the Cleric. No, according to Jeremy Crawford, the best if you want to play a spellcaster in 2024 D&D, your best choice is the Barbarian. Why? I don't know, but apparently it is now the best spellcaster. I knew that there was a Rage Strike Barbarian build that we saw briefly last year in the Tal'Dorei Xandu expanded playthrough, where there was a barbarian that on his rages could do spell-like abilities instead of just extra strength and stuff like that. But now we do have, apparently, according to Crawford, the best spellcaster in the game is a barbarian. Everything about that sentence feels wrong. I mean, it's bad enough that barbarian should not be a class. Barbarian is a culture or a social position, because if you look at history, what a barbarian is pretty much everybody that wasn't us. So, the Romans would show up in a new place and they'd encounter inhabitants of that new place they'd never encountered before. They would be heathens and barbarians. It doesn't matter if their culture was far more advanced than the Romans. They were heathens and barbarians because they did not believe like the Romans believed, and they did not accept Rome and its rightful right to rule the world. So barbarian's not a class. Barbarian is a culture or just a perception. Now, fine. You want to have barbarians. You want to have the I'm angry, so therefore I do stuff, which is, of course, again, goes against the Conan and the sword and sandals motif that barbarian class is trying to emulate. But yeah, the first thing I think about when I think barbarian should not be they make the best spellcasters in the game now. There is something very, 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 very wrong in the inherent thought pattern of D&D 2024 if we're going into it with the idea that if I want to play a spellcaster, the best spellcaster build I can play is not a spellcaster, but a barbarian. No, the best spellcaster should be Cleric or Wizard. Cleric, because there's nothing they can't do, and Wizards, because spellcasting is their bread and butter. Nobody should be king of the spellcasting other than Wizards. You want to be afraid of Wizards, especially once they reach 5th level and have those 3rd level spell dips. That's like, then they're like, 3rd level spells. You know what that means? 8d6 fireball, suck it. So yeah, just not a sentence I ever want to hear. Other changes to ONE DND to make it go more backwards compatible by now being an errata. This is an argument that's going to go on and on and on until the next playtest. What happens to the next playtest if they change everything again, guys? Then you're going to be like, whoops. So now as things stand, this is no longer a new edition. It is basically a 20-page errata. If we just go down by what's here, so this looks like 2 or 3 pages, plus the information on the subclasses. So what? It's 5 pages, 10 pages? No, probably not even 5. What is it? Like 3 pages, 3 or 4 pages per class. So let's say 4. 4, 8. Sorcerer, I don't think you need to be here. I don't even think Sorcerer needs to be a class. Unless you emphasize the bloodline far more, especially with the Chaos bloodline. and stuff like that, and the spell criticals and spell failures. So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're missing 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 pages for those so far. That's 4 out of the 8. So we've got Ranger, Paladin, Cleric, Bard, Monk, and Artificer, right? So yeah, and each of those is about 3-4 pages. So 4 times 8. It's what, a 40 page, 50 page, maybe even 60 page errata, depending upon how big they make the fonts. If you erase all the art, it would probably be smaller. So that's what you should just give us, is the errata, and not charge us, $60, $70, $80, $100 for a brand new book that is basically dominated by 70 new pieces of art on every single page. Stuff like this picture here and this, this will be stuff like this will be on every page. Every page. Yeah. That's the excitement we can look forward to. So that's where things stand today in the victims of the OGL wars. Oh, please don't let these shakes go on. And it is September, so we're going on 10 months since the January Manic Panic. Wizards of the Coast continues to make itself just look bad, continues to throw token members of their staff under the bus. First it was Kyle, and then it's McKinsey. Now we've got this new one, the woman who's done Fandelver. And of course we have the whole safety tools Fandelver nonsense, which is a completely separate topic. But yeah, that's where things stand, which means number 1 winner still is Kelsey Dion's Shadowdark. Number 2, close second, is Tales from the Valiant, because it looks like it's ready to go. Unless you count Level Up 5e, then it would be number 1, but it actually predates the OGL Manic Panic, so I'm not sure if it counts or not, because it's been around for 2 years. And if you're counting it, then it would be the Universal Champion, not D&D, at least in regards to competitors. It's the Intercontinental Champion to D&D's Universal Championship. But right now, number 1 contender is Kelsey. Though, Shadowdark isn't really 5e. It's sort of a 5e OD&D mashup. And it's already starting to look a little convoluted with all the expansions and splat books that people are making for it. What I loved about Shadowdark was its simplicity, that it took all the best of 5e, it took all the best of AD&D and 3, and gave you this simple, easy, wonderful little game that it emulated the best of both. But now people are making so many splat books and expansions that it's getting very crowded. So it'll be interesting to see what 2024 brings us from the Arcane Library, because sooner or later people are going to start saying, well, Kelsey, what have you done lately? Clock's ticking, girl. Do you appreciate me doing this every week? Let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about this topic ever again, let me know. Which one of these are you the most excited about, or do you just not care? Are you just completely 100% done with 5th edition and done with any permutations of 5th edition, and you're just ready to get back to talking about castles and crusades and superheroes like I am? Let me know what you're thinking. Till then, I'm the OGGM. Take care, and I'll talk to you losers later. Stay safe. See ya.